What to expect from Star Wars Outlaws Wild Card DLC. The first DLC, entitled Wild Card, arrives sometime in fall of this year, while the second, A Pirate's Fortune, drops sometime in spring of 2025. November 21st, 2024, is also when the first Star Wars Outlaws DLC expansion, Wild Card, is out on all platforms. As you might can guess from the name, Star Wars Outlaws Wild Card expansion is all about Sabaac. Nix and Kay infiltrate a high-stakes tournament and face off against Lando himself, a challenge only faintly teased in the base game, and a free update launching with the expansion will add more contracts for all players. Ubisoft's current cross-progression guidelines for Star Wars Outlaws say that DLC purchases from the in-game store or platform store are tied to the platform you purchase them on, though you should be able to access it on other platforms by signing into the same Ubisoft account or linking your platforms to the same Ubisoft account. In Wild Card, you'll get embroiled in a high-stakes Sabaac tournament where you'll meet Lando, who is a legendary gambler and not home to Ornstein and Smuff, or those archers who knock you off those pissing rooftops. And in A Pirate's Fortune, you'll meet Hondo, who is looking to settle old scores with a ruthless gang of pirates, and is not a vehicle with a manual transmission, or an old Western flick featuring John Wayne. The Wild Card DLC for Star Wars Outlaws will be released on November 21st, 2024. Star Wars Outlaws Wild Card DLC introduces a new narrative with Lando Calrissian, expanding the game's storyline. A free update will be released on the same day, adding new contract missions to the game. A second story-based DLC, A Pirate's Fortune, is due for release in the spring of 2025. 2 cosmetic bundles for Season Pass owners will offer unique outfits for Kay Vess and her vehicles. The release of Wild Card will include Title Update 4, targeting combat and stealth improvements. Wild Card will add a new storyline to Star Wars Outlaws base game and introduce Lando Calrissian. As Star Wars Outlaws Wild Card DLC is a story pack, the biggest addition it will make to the base game comes in its narrative. In Wild Card, Kay Vess is forced to work for the Empire, who sends her on a mission to infiltrate a casino ship and participate in a high-stakes Sabaac tournament. During her time at the Sabaac table, she faces off against the notorious Lando Calrissian, whom she joins forces with to unveil a conspiracy that eventually leads them into the most secret depths of Miragana. Apart from this basic premise, no other info has been provided. The hope, however, is that Wild Card might involve much more than playing Sabaac over and over again. 2 cosmetic bundles will launch alongside Star Wars Outlaws Wild Card DLC. The release of Wild Card will also see 2 cosmetic bundles granted to Star Wars Outlaws Season Pass owners, Hunter's Legacy and Cartel Ronin. Both cosmetic bundles will include additional outfits for Kay, as well as cosmetics for her speeder and her ship, the Trailblazer. Unfortunately, there are very few specifics on what these cosmetic bundles will offer in terms of appearance, but they are both nonetheless distinct from one another. Title Update 4 will be released with Wild Card, bringing gameplay improvements and more content. While the Wild Card DLC will be substantial in and of itself, it will also include Title Update 4, which Massive says will improve Star Wars Outlaws combat and stealth. Depending on what these improvements accomplish and how extensive they are, they could mean big things for Star Wars Outlaws, as a significant portion of the criticism surrounding the game has targeted its combat and stealth. Alongside the launch of Wild Card, Massive will also provide free additional contracts for Star Wars Outlaws players to complete. Massive hasn't been explicit about what these contracts will be or which Star Wars Outlaws factions they will be for, but the pool of contracts players currently have to pull from will at least be expanded. The launch of Wild Card will see Star Wars Outlaws brought to Steam. Finally, one of the biggest moves Star Wars Outlaws is making with the launch of its Wild Card DLC is that it is headed to Steam. Previously, it had only been available to play on PC via the Ubisoft Connect app, somewhat alienating PC players who prefer to play their games on Steam. This could potentially expand Star Wars Outlaws' audience by a significant amount, so long as it doesn't fall prey to review bombing, but that much remains to be seen.